If you are even close to on the fence about it, I could not give this a more emphatic thumbs up. At $140, is Skechers actually releasing kind of a problem to the bigger brands in the running space? This is the Skechers Aero Razor, and I think it does a lot of things right. The weight is great, great midsole material, a Goodyear outsole. I mean, is it time to start taking them real seriously? We're gonna find out. So let's run through some of the tech specs real quick. The shoe comes in super light, under 7 ounces, so it's 6.9 ounces for a men's size 9. We have an aliphatic TPU for the midsole, which is going to be some of the best foam you're seeing out right now. So they've added stack height from the previous version of this shoe. It's up to 36 in the heel, but it's a 4mm drop. That's something to be mindful of if you ever have calf or Achilles issues. There is an H, a carbon plate H, so it comes across and forward. It adds some stability to the shoe. The idea isn't to add a ton of propulsion to the shoe, just something a little bit to give some torsional stability. And I think it's going to be evident as we're running here. It clearly has a pretty rockered geometry as we get to the forefoot, and one of my favorite things, the laces here. These sawtooth laces do such a good job of staying where they're supposed to, so always a huge thumbs up for getting that done right. So at the $140 price point, this is really going up against some of those big hitters, the Adidas Evo SL, the New Balance Rebel, the Asics Nova Blast, even something like the Mizuno Neo Zen 2, with all the shoes at the $150 price point that are putting their most premium foams into something that's more digestible for more runners. I'm super curious how this shoe at $140 stacks up against that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get a fit check here. It looks a little narrow to me, so I'm curious how it feels on foot. Laces definitely giving a nice secure feel. So as always, we're gonna be running a 10-minute mile, something around 8:30, and then all the way down to a sub 7-minute mile to see how this feels at different paces. First impression is it's feeling pretty firm, but I'm not opposed to it. Definitely aggressive in the toe off. A size 12 is fitting pretty tight. I'm usually between 12 and 12 and a half. I'd say this is probably the right size though. So I'd say true to size, go with what feels comfortable there. Now I do have my own expectations. I assume it's going to feel best at the faster pace, but we still need to put it through its paces because sometimes you're going out and you're starting with some 10-minute miles before you get into something faster. I think it just gives you the most information possible. And at the end, we'll go ahead and get some strides in as well. I'll try and take it from something around 6-minute pace down to sub 5-minute pace for just a little while to see how it feels when we really start putting some force into it for those out there who are putting more force into the ground throughout their whole runs. So we'll go ahead and get the walk test now, see how it feels as we're walking, and then we'll pop straight into the run. All right, first impressions on the walk test. Definitely feels super lightweight. I like the roll. Not getting a ton of pop feel out of it. So I'm curious when we actually start moving and putting some more into it, if it responds a little better. As I'm walking back to my car to put stuff in the car before I start running, I do notice a lot of arch support in this. So if you like a lot, that's great. If not, TBD. So to continue from the walk test, walking back to my car just to put some stuff away before we get into the actual run, realized the arch felt very prominent on the inside. I'm not usually a huge fan of that. They said that the sock liner they put into the shoe is actually made out of TPU instead of like just a cruddy piece of foam. So I'm kind of interested if that breaks in. It actually says that the shoe's supposed to mold really well to your foot, so I'm curious if that's true. I imagine it's going to be a handful of miles before that starts to really happen, but I am curious. I'll give it at least a little while to let it figure that out. But on this first run review, we'll just see how it feels. Also, realized I have not had quite enough calories today, so we're going to do a 1-sip review of the Go Gel from BPN. It's one of the more like apple saucy based type of gels. 100 calories, 24 grams of carbs. We'll do a 1 sip test and then see if it's any good. So we'll go ahead and do this. It's been sitting in my bag for a minute, so we'll see how it tastes. All right. Yeah, just tastes like mango, to be honest, which makes sense. Mango juice concentrate is the first ingredient, and then brown rice syrup. So you can see that right there. Pretty clean ingredients, actually. I know how to say all of these. Apple puree concentrate, purified water, mango puree concentrate, lemon juice concentrate, natural flavors, and sea salt. I give that a thumbs up. We'll see how it sits on the stomach as we run, but big fan of this. One gel review. Big thumbs up. I like that. That's very yummy. Time to go run. All right, we're a little past a half mile in here, and was not on my bingo card, but at the slower 10-minute pace here, actually feeling quite good. I guess it's just because it's as lightweight as it is, but super cool with it. The rock is nice, lightweight feels good. We are cruising just a little bit ahead pace, but no, I could totally rock this for an easy run. All right, so that is the first mile done. That was a very comfy, cruisy 9:53. As I was saying on the run, wow, just lightweight. Wow's a fair word for it. Unexpected, maybe a little bit. I guess to an extent, it's like anytime you've got a lightweight shoe on and you're running easy, it's like, oh, this is a little bit easier to pick my feet up on, but no, very, very pleasantly surprised. On my foot, the shoe feels pretty good. As I said, it was kind of narrow in the middle of the last, but no, not mad at it. It doesn't feel unstable at all. The forefoot base is also pretty wide, which helps out with that a ton. Inside the shoe, I was worried a little bit about that arch because it felt, as I said, a little more beefy, prominent, but no weird feeling as I was running. Inside the shoe, like pretty well situated, stable. I did tie the shoe down a little tighter and heel locked it. Great feel there. No complaints whatsoever on the upper. Teeth on the laces feel like they're biting nice, not getting that feeling like it would come untied at all. So we'll get into this next mile here in just a sec. And just like that, we are going into mile 2. So even with that ice down, the grip still feels pretty good. Not that like any rubber is really going to dig into ice, but definitely putting it through its paces in terms of surface being a little wet, and we're feeling good. That's a half a mile into this rep. We're right on pace. Taking you guys away we haven't gone over before. This is crossing the bridge, and yeah, so far cranking along at this pace. I'm excited for Run Repeat to come out with their energy return numbers, because I feel like this will be pretty good. My immediate reaction as I went into the second mile was, I think this could do well on the track for like a workout day without like wanting spikes or anything crazy like that. All right, so very comfy on that 8:30 paced rep. I've got my breath really well still, so maybe some fitness is coming back. That's great. Again, super cool on the pace. It was totally willing to pick up. Next mile is going to be great. I think it's just going to keep along that train of the shoe feeling really good. I think it's just because of the Skechers name. I don't think this shoe's going to sell very well, only because it is a Skechers, which is unfortunate, because I actually think this shoe may be better than some of the like premium 150 price point shoes. I just think it's really hard for a lot of people to get over the Skechers name, and I think they probably should. This absolutely deserves to be in the conversation, being $10 cheaper. The feel of the foam, it's totally willing to pick up the pace so far. Feel like I'm running really easy, and I should be at this pace, but just a totally comfy shoe. Workout on the track, I could see doing a long run in this if I had some more up-tempo portions of the run. Really, so far, no complaints on it, other than that maybe they need to rebrand. Just tough for them. I think the next mile is going to be awesome. Just cruising here. Feeling great. Fastest I've been on one of these faster miles to this point. We are past 3/4 of the way in. This shoe is by far the fastest one I've tested since starting this. We're still clipping along at 6:31 mile pace, which for me is pretty good. Not emptying the tank or anything like that. Just feels like it's helping and doing a lot of the work with me. I'm even digging the lower drop. All right, so you see it there. So this is some of what I was running on, where it's wet, kind of slick. There's mud here. I ran up and back down this with no worries really at all for like the security on the shoe. And I know that wouldn't be the case with all the different shoes I've tested. Like some of them would be slipping on this for sure. Truly, I think Skechers did something pretty awesome with this. I had low hopes coming into this, and if you are even close to on the fence about it, I could not give this a more emphatic thumbs up. So we're just walking back to the car now, but man, I think I would be more than happy to go do 5 more in this. Like, it doesn't feel like it's fatiguing at all. And I think that's in large part because it is a little bit, because it's a little bit more stiff of a shoe. And I'm very okay with that. I like being able to put force into the ground. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a second camera and do the strides here next. So we finished up, got the nice camera back out, and we are going to do some strides before it gets too cold out here on the greenway. So this is the best place to record this part of it for shadows and stuff. But we're gonna do 3 strides. I think the first one's gonna be pretty easy at 6-minute pace. We were running that for almost a mile. But we're gonna do it nonetheless so I can talk about it. So we'll go 6 minutes, something in the 5s, and then something hopefully below 5-minute pace. And we'll see how things feel as that speed continues to increase. So what can happen with some shoes is some, when you put more force in, just get kind of mushy. For a shoe that you want to be really good on the track, you don't want that to be the case. You want it to be, you start putting more in, it starts popping more back at you. So we'll see how it feels. I'll drop this off and pick it back up between reps so it doesn't go flying anywhere. I'm gonna do these about 35 meters or so just to get a good feel for it, but I'm gonna jog out that way, come back quick this way. Well, I didn't expect to do that. That first one there was at 4 minutes and 15 second mile pace and did not feel anything like that. I talked to a buddy that comes into the running store sometimes, and that took me a minute there, and we cooled down a little bit. I'm gonna see if a minute or two later, this is a little less aggressive in terms of pacing. So we're gonna go again. So even with some time between reps, that was 4:34 pace, and these just don't want to go slow, which is great. I think anytime you've got something like that where it's like encouraging you to do the thing that you want to do, that's super ideal. So I'm going to do one more just for the heck of it, but so far so great. Well, that was a 4:38 pace, so I don't know what to say other than this shoe's doing great. We do have some questions to answer before I go home. I'd be stoked to keep running actually, but I need to give you all the details. So we have some questions to answer about the Skechers Aero Razor. First of which, what is its intended purpose and how does it accomplish that goal, or how well does it do it? It's supposed to be an up-tempo trainer that you're able to do a lot of work in, whether it's a speed workout or just an up-tempo day outside. Does it accomplish that task? Yeah, absolutely does. And I'm so sad that this is from Skechers, because I don't know that it's going to change people's perception of Skechers. I know it's under a different umbrella of Skechers Running, and no shade to the brand. But if this was from Adidas or from Nike or Asics, this would absolutely take off. I know it would. The feel on the shoe, I test a lot of shoes being at the running store as well as being out here. And this shoe does pretty much everything I ask for. I am biased. I do love a lightweight shoe. I have a big background with track and field, so I like when a shoe almost reminds me a little bit of a spike. But sometimes I worry about like a lower drop like this has. The 4mm drop didn't bother me at all. Actually, I feel like it helped me with the way I was running be a little more smooth and economical how I was running. The lightweight feel, the firm feel into the ground, all of it just kept reminding me like, man, this shoe is super happy to pop off the ground and let you run. But there was plenty underfoot that I wasn't like wanting for more on a longer run. So like the Mount to Coast R1 is a really firm shoe. I sometimes just wish I had a little more cushioned feel with it. And this feels like a better iteration of that. Now, what distances would I run in this if I wanted to race? I would consider a 5K, 10K super easy. I think a half would be totally reasonable. I would want to know how stiff it is and how much energy return it has compared to some of these like really, really top end racing shoes. But I think you could by all means lose very little if you were running a half marathon in this shoe. I need to test more before I would say whether or not I would be happy to go up to a full marathon distance in it. My initial inclination is yes. I would be curious how it feels deeper into a long run, but I will actually likely keep this for my long runs that have quality work in them. So I don't know if I'd be going out of my way to use these for a long run, being that it's 36 mils, I think, of stack. I think there are other shoes that have more stack height, a little more protection from the ground, but if the goal is to go get a really good stimulus, I think I'd be happy to, you know, run a long run with some pickups in it. If I was doing a couple of 2-mile reps at marathon goal pace, I think this shoe could really crush that kind of workout, understanding you're probably going to be fatigued the following day. How was the fit and the feel? It feels really nice. No real qualms with it. If you have a wide foot, I wouldn't go for this. It feels perfectly fitted to my very standard width foot. So not a very accommodating width-wise shoe. Length felt great, no qualms, no problems. Lengthwise, no real problems. It fits pretty true to size. I wear 12 in most things, 12 and a half in some. Happy with the 12 on this. Laces didn't come untied at all, so again, big thumbs up on that. Please, more brands. If anybody happens to watch this deep into my video, put more of these sawtooth laces in your shoes. They're so good, they stay tied, which everybody loves. So as always, I'm a big value guy. Do I think this is worth actually spending money on? If you're somebody who does workouts, I would say yes. If you're somebody who is just going out and cruising some miles, there are probably better options for cruising if that is the intended purpose. That said, it still felt great at that easier pace, so no real problems with that. The Goodyear outsole did great, no worries whatsoever on the grip there. One run in, I am really impressed. I always want to continue to test and see how things feel as we get more miles in them. This is something I'm going to go out of my way to wear more because I like how it felt. So I should be able to rack up some miles pretty quickly on them. So to Skechers, you guys did great. I hope this shoe takes off. And I think if enough people like me get this in their hands and get to talk about how impressive it is, I think it could. I don't want the name to hold back the shoe. If you just covered that up and had a shoe like this, man, it looks good, it feels good, it runs really nicely. I am super stoked with it. The Skechers Aero Razor is a certified banger, really good shoe. I am totally happy with it. Really no areas that I'm like, man, I wish this was different or that was different. Good job, Skechers. If you are curious how you should prep for your next half marathon, I have an entire video dedicated to that right here. Go ahead and take a look at it. With that said, I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy getting your miles in. I'll see you in the next one.